Oh, there.
Good evening, everyone. I want to share to you guys what is one of my hobbies and one of my passions. First of all, I'm going to give you a little brief overview of a race weekend for me on race day. So I brought on some pictures to help give you a visual. So imagine this. You have 30 bikes on the grid. Competitors from all over, Canada, California, Alabama, you name it, they come for the money. So we have 30 racers on grid. The green flag waves, everybody guns their bike in hopes of the whole shot. You're running down the straightaway, get it up to speeds of 180 miles an hour. And then at the 50-foot break marker, everybody's trying to check everybody out to make sure you're not the first on the brakes. So then it becomes a rat race to the first corner to get the whole shot. Everybody's ganged up around the corner fighting for position. This goes on for 7 to 14 laps depending on the race. And you're at it tooth and nail. Everybody's all over each other trying to get an edge, trying to get past you. The pocket for passing isn't very, very big, as you can see. So if you leave even a foot space open inside corner, that's room for you to get through. You keep at it tooth and nail, like I said, for 7 to 14 laps. Adrenaline's pumping, and all you can think about is the win. You keep at it tooth and nail. Keep thinking to yourself, keep the brake points the same, keep the acceleration points the same. I got to win this race because money's on the line. Last corner comes, you're inches away from your competitor, the long stretch goes on. Now it's all up to your bike at that point because it's the best bike's going to win. And what I'm going to go over with today is how to get that bike to that point so you can win. My name is Shannon Petrie. I am a second-year expert, just turned expert this year. Last season I placed second in the points championship and placed fourth in 2 other championships. This season I'm expert and I'm first in 2 championships and I'm chasing the crown in hopes of a big sponsorship. You can turn on the lights now. So, what I'm going to go over with you is 3 points to making a bike competitive. First, the bike has to be safe. Once you achieve that, you can get on to the part of performance. Once you have your performance up to spec, then you have to worry about body position. So first we're going to start off with the safety aspect of the motorcycle. You can't win unless you're safe. A safe bike's a winning bike. So regulation states that only so many modifications are allowed. But first of all, what you have to do is pass tech inspection to even get there. So what we do is we reinforce the case with these reinforced billet sliders here on both sides. All major bolts that have either life-threatening components attached to it or fluid behind them have to be drilled and safety wired. And this is achieved like so. As you can see, the wire right here is clipped off because I was doing some work. But this one right here is an example. And you have to safety wire everything because any fluid gets on your rear tire, you'll wipe out. You only have a contact patch about 3 inches wide that's holding you to the ground. So what we safety wire here is we safety wire the pinch bolts on the front axle. We safety wire the exhaust system because you don't want that flying off hitting somebody at 100-something miles an hour. We safety wire the brake calipers because you don't want to hit the brakes and have that thing back out on you. Brakes are your life. One of the major components that holds fluid is your oil plug, which is on the bottom, and that's safety wired. Also is your oil filter safety wire. Then we're going to go into modifications. Modifications is set per rule book, per class. So if you're going to race your motorcycle in multiple classes, like me, I race my motorcycle in 4 different classes. Amongst those classes is called Super Sport. Super Sport class is basically all your internal modifications of the motor has to stay stopped. After that, anything else goes per rule book with some exceptions. So The internals of this motor is stock. Modifications that I first start with is a high flow air filter. And I start off with a exhaust system, free up the motor. Then I do a piggyback system on the computer, so I can change the programming to do my, so it can accept my race fuel. I run 114 octane in this bike. This bike puts out 140 horsepower at the rear tire. Top speeds on this bike is 185 miles per hour. The suspension has to be redone with race components so that it can handle the speeds. Tires have to be swapped out with grippier rubber to handle the speeds also. And steering dampener has to be added onto there, so in case you have high-speed wobbles. This is a shock dampener. It takes the vibration out of the front so your bike don't start tank slapping and throw you off. And which leads me now to body position. If your bike is not set up correctly for your body, then you're going to be fighting the bike. If you're fighting the bike, then you're not going fast. You have to be comfortable on the bike, your bike has to be safe, and your bike has to have every modification on it in order for you to be competitive, and in hopes of being competitive in other classes that allow more modifications. So, in conclusion to all this, what I'm trying to say is 3 major aspects of a bike to make yourself competitive, which is safety, modifications, and body position. If you have all 3 of these, then it's just up to you. Money's on the line, so competition is very tight. And when I line up and I know that my bikes are good because I build them myself, I always have a model when I line up and I look at my competition. It's kind of like Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you last. Thank you.